Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Pamela? Is that you and me only?
Yeah, it looks like right now it's just the two of us, but I'm expecting everybody else to make it. Yeah.
We shall see. Such a
Yes,
cool day,
it is very, yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking outside and it now is up to 20 degrees, which is great. It started like 5 or 6 degrees in the morning.
Mm,
Awful.
yeah. No.
Well, how was your
The
sister?
vacation was lovely. So it was 2 weeks in Portugal. We had Lisbon as
Oh,
our base,
oh,
and just a really wonderful time. I s- it was there with my brother who gave me this as a gift for my 65th birthday.
oh, how
And um and we just spent time together. We talked a lot about our parents and just had a great time.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So Sam has joined us. Sam, we're just waiting for the other members of the commission to join so we can get started. And there's
Sounds
Ian.
good. Yeah, I know
Uh,
Myra let me know that I don't think she will be coming, but
no, yeah, Myra's
yeah, okay.
not available. But we still don't have a quorum. We need one more person from the commission to have a quorum to get started. So we'll see if Reginald or Jim or Cody shows up.
Jim usually is a few minutes late,
Yeah. Mhm.
so I don't know the others.
So I haven't heard from anyone that they were not able to make it. So
Hmm.
hopefully they will be able to make it.
Ian is here. Hi, Ian.
Hi, Saren.
How are you?
Good. It's actually Ian, but that's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Ian. Sorry.
No worries. That's how my fifth grade teacher used to say it also.
Mhm. There's Reginald.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good
All right.
morning.
So since we have a quorum, I will go ahead and get started by reading the announcements. So the Commission for Persons with Disabilities is meeting virtually on Tuesday, December 9th, pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, extended through June 30th of 2027. The ability of public bodies to meet in a fully remote or hybrid manner. Members of the public who wish to access the meeting may do so via Zoom or by telephone. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. With the absence of both our chair and co-chair, I'll just review the agenda for today. So at this meeting, we're going to have a roll call. We'll conduct old business, which is a discussion of the handicap parking fines. Under new business, a discussion of the town website format accessibility, and we have Sam Giffen with us today to do that. The Worcester Restaurant Accessibility Guide. Town Councilor-elect Amber Cano Martin is here as a guest. And also on the agenda are removal of snow and ice from sidewalks and approval of the minutes. So I'll start with the roll call vote. So um, Darren,
Here.
all right. Ian, Rodwalt, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Here.
Reginald Andrade. Am I saying that, pronouncing your last name correctly?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay, and I am Pamela Young, and I'm here as a voting member. Oh, okay, so the first thing on the agenda under old business is a discussion regarding handicap parking fines, but I would ask the commission if it's possible. Hmm. Sam just left us for a second, but she might just be off camera. Seems like she's off camera. Could we skip the old business and start with Sam Giffen and the town website form accessibility? All right, there's Sam. Do I have everyone's consent to adjust the agenda in that way?
Yes, that sounds
Yes.
good.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So Sam, you're on. And there's Jim joining us. So Jim, if you'll just announce that you're present.
I am here.
All right, great.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I know there's some new faces since last time I came to one of these meetings. So just to introduce myself, I'm Sam. I'm the communications manager with the town. And what that means is that I oversee our website, all that external communications to residents, as well as our social media and any media relations with local journalists and newspapers and news outlets. I've come to this commission before to talk about mainly website accessibility, and that's what I'm here to chat a little bit about today. So I think my initial invitation came from Myra reaching out with a specific issue of a resident having accessing a form on our website, which I'll chat with her more about offline, but I did discover it was a state form. So I'm reaching out to someone at the state's level of or state's Office of Disabilities to kind of hear their input on making that form accessible so we can make it accessible to our residents. But in general, I kind of wanted to come and provide an update because the town is actually currently doing a big evaluation of our website. And I have notes from these meetings. Things have been brought up in the past regarding accessibility of parts of the website or certain design features, as well as other things that Myra or members have reached out to me individually with. But part of this evaluation is, yes, knowing all of those accessibility or inaccessibility things, as well as looking at the design function, all of the elements of a website. And so working with folks in IT, as well as getting input from other town staff and elected officials, we've collected a lot of feedback around what's working on the website, what's not working, what we'd rather see. And so what we're currently doing now is we've met with 3 vendors, including our current vendor for our website, to discuss what it would look like doing an upgrade with our current vendor, and how that would address a lot of different functionality issues, including accessibility issues. And we've also met with 2 other vendors. And in all of these conversations, we've been talking about a lot of the things we want the website to do. And ADA accessibility is a main talking point that we've been using, both because we've heard directly from our residents about how it's impacting their ability to use the website. But also, there is recent legislation from the Department of Justice that requires all government websites to abide by certain accessibility requirements. For us, it's by April 2027 that we have to do that or show that we're working towards that. And so I just kind of, yeah, wanted to share that update. That we are currently in that process. We've now met with the 3 vendors and are going to be meeting this week or next week to talk about what we want to do moving forward after having met with all of these vendors. But as we're still in these conversations, would love to answer any questions or hear any additional feedback or challenges that you've encountered with the website, just functionality or specifically accessibility.
Open the floor for anyone who would like to ask Sam any questions. And I noticed that Cody's now with us. So Cody, if you can just unmute and state that you're present, that would be great.
I'm here.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have questions for Sam?
You know,
All right, Ian?
it's unfortunate though. Sorry, Even, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say things that I've struggled with, and I think I may have mentioned this in meetings here in the past, but things that I've struggled with on the town website have been when I've been looking for uh previous town council minutes or upcoming town council agendas, or general calendars or um sort of more specific uh, I think those are the main things. But also just the general navigation has been challenging and difficult and not very user friendly, to be diplomatic.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's helpful feedback and definitely something we've heard and yeah, are hoping that it can be a big thing we can improve as we uh switch over to a new website. Yeah. James, I think yeah, you were gonna say something.
Oh, only that it was unfortunate that Myra wasn't able to be here today because she had a lot of technical insights, really, as far as low vision and blind access to the website. And so but I assume she might have at least broached those topics with you.
Yeah, she also sent me an article that has something specifically about testing with screen reader users, if folks only navigate with keyboards, other kind of motor impairments, visual impairments, and how that impacts folks' use of the website. So definitely things we're yeah kind of asking questions about as we're meeting with vendors. The other things that I have notes from previous meetings with you all or emails is yeah, just around the calendar. There's certain content that are on calendar items that are not accessible by screen readers, that you literally just don't even know they're there. Um, also, some of the like forms in our form center that folks use to either apply for things or show interest in certain initiatives. Also, some of that is not inaccessible. Some things around like the colors. Um, and yeah, just the general kind of search function, as well as things like, yeah, alternative text on images and how links need to be labeled. Those are some of the key things that we've kind of gotten feedback on from you all or others. But maybe something that I'll do is I'll email it to Myra and Pamela and they can forward it on. But I could send you three website examples. One would be our current vendor, but with someone who recently upgraded their website. Um, so that it's kind of the most up-to-date version and likely addresses some accessibility issues that our current website has. And then two websites, one from each of the other two vendors that we're looking at, just as examples, not of Amherst or anything, but just other websites so you can see and maybe play around navigating. And if you had any thoughts or feedback or liked one better, then you can let Pamela and Myra know and they can pass that on to me so we know and take that into account. Um, but yeah.
Thank you. That sounds very helpful. Anyone else with questions for Sam?
Hi,
If not, that
This is Reggie. No, that is a great idea. So I have low vision and I am a screen reader. I use JAWS for Windows and it's been a long time screen reader user and certain websites and filling out information and calendar date pickers sometimes gets quite challenging. So that's a good idea. And once the email gets sent to me, I can check it out and then review how accessible the website is, pages with a screen reader.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
oh, all right. So unless anybody else has any other questions for Sam, I know she has other things that she needs to get to today, so we will thank her for attendance.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I'll send you that email both to Myra and Pamela with the website options and hope to hear back. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Okay. So if we go back on our agenda to the handicap parking fines, I was not a part of the meeting last month where you started this discussion, so I'm not sure where it's scheduled to begin, but perhaps somebody who was attended the last meeting can give a little bit of summary or what you were hoping to discuss for today.
Well, we're interested in the handicap parking fines because that's the commission's source of income, for lack of a better term. And according to Myra at the last meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but according to what I heard Myra say was that they were in fact collecting no fines for handicap parking violations at this time. And so I don't know if that's true, but I have no reason to doubt Myra. And at the same time, if it is true, it would seem that we need to sort of uh, get things going on that. And there were a couple of things that I wondered about there. One was that, should we invite the police chief to the next meeting and talk about these issues, since I assume the police chief oversees parking and parking violations. And at the same time, Soren, I don't know if you remember this, but when Paul Winsky worked at Stavros, he worked very hard to get a handicap parking patrol in place. And the idea there was that volunteers would be trained and then they would take photographs of parking violators because it was, it's one of those things. I mean, the meter folks go through every once in a while, but they're not there. It always seems that they're never around when somebody's violating handicap parking space. And so it seems to me that that was actually passed by, oh goodness, I'm not even sure. It was an older form of town government at that point. I assume it would still be on the books, but I don't know how to pursue that. Or maybe my memory is faulty. Do you remember that, Surin?
I wish I would. But I remember the whole effort going into that, but I don't remember the its relation to the town meeting. I mean, town decision. I can't even remember the year it would be, so we could go into the archives in some way.
Paul died quite a few years ago, I think. So
Yeah, maybe mm, at least 30 years ago. So
at least.
so maybe we thought that was a good effort to get this spread the word around to folks that could do that. Maybe we shouldn't look into what was past, but maybe we should try to start it from scratch again. So maybe we could bring it up to the town
So,
if they would be willing to do that.
so I'm willing to see what I can find. As I said before, wasn't a part of the November meeting. In the past, when we've had discussions with the collector's office, they've told us that generally the town collects between $2,000 and $3,000 in handicap parking fines annually. So I don't know whether there had been no fines collected, this year or this fiscal year, or whether, but I can certainly follow up and ask those questions. Because the expectation of this commission had been with that you'd probably have about $2,000 to $3,000 annually coming in through the parking fines. At least that's what had been shared with us in the past.
Yeah, and the thing we would like to do with that money is, when there's a little problem someplace, they say, "Oh, we don't have money to do that. Show me the money." So we thought maybe that could support those immediate needs that are not big scope, small amounts. So that was, we thought we should really have money in that and transfer to our this committee's resources.
And Pamela, what were the amounts that you just said? I
Yeah, so in the past, we had the collector come to speak to the commission, and this was over a year ago when we first started working towards moving from a committee to a commission and going over the statutes. And I'm fairly certain that she says that in the past the town has collected between $2,000 to $3,000. Um, annually from parking fines. So I'm more than happy to reach out and ask that question and find out. I would be surprised to learn that no fines had been collected, but it may be that no fines have been collected to date, but rather than that, they're not attempting to collect, to place fines. So I can inquire about that and have an answer for the January meeting.
So where are the monies going into?
So the money is going into a separate budget line item for this commission. So it's kept
For this commission?
right. It's part of the town overall budget, but it's a separate line item. It's not commingled with other town funds, so you have the ability to have the funds roll over from year to year to use at your discretion. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
So my question is, you must have year-to-date actual reports from
right,
controller's office.
right.
So is there any way we can review it, what is done on a quarterly basis? And very soon you will have the half a year report, six
Right.
months report.
Yeah, so that's what I'm offering to ask,
Yeah.
is what those amounts are. But
Yeah.
they're not sent out to the commission on a regular basis. The money's just collected and part and monitored in the finance department by the finance director and his staff, but I'm happy to reach out to Sean and ask what the current balance is. And the balance might be zero. As I've said, I wasn't part of that November meeting. So, and I don't, I don't, so Myra might be correct and the balance might be zero, but it's what I'm told is that, you know, the town is actively collecting fines, but they may not have collected any to this point. I don't know. I just have to inquire and ask those questions.
Yeah. And
Last week, Pamela, last month, so we were discussing how here at UMass, for example, we work for Disability Services Office and we have an annual yearly scholarship which we provide for students who are registered with this office. And the money comes from HP violated, parking violators here on campus.
Mhm.
So the police department, the UM Mass Police Department, UMPD, they work with our office and they give us money every year, which helps out with the scholarship.
mhm.
Right. So it's the same process here with the town. It's just that I don't know what the current balance is. I would be shocked to find that no fines have been collected. But that may be the case. But and I would also be shocked to learn that no fines were being collected because they weren't collecting fines. I think the town should be engaged in the collection of money, but they may not have given out any tickets. So those are all questions I'm happy to ask and find out for the next meeting in January.
That would be great. Then, if
Mhm.
there is zero collected, that means we need to understand why.
Mhm.
I'm sure not everybody is uh, in compliance with the regulations, because I usually see it myself. But in that case, if that's the case, then we might go into what was done at Stavros years ago by Paul Winsky and see if we can pursue it in this day and age.
Okay. Yep. I will definitely follow up with that.
Thank
Any
you.
other comments? Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is the Worcester Restaurant Accessibility Guide, which I'm told at the last meeting, members of the commission were asked to review. I can pull it up and screen share if that would be helpful for folks to take a look at. Or did you all
Yeah.
have an opportunity to review it?
That'd be helpful because
Okay.
I've been so busy. Yeah.
Okay, I'll screen share. I think I can. Right. So, are you able to see?
Not yet. Okay,
Okay.
now it is.
All right. Yeah. So, so basically the Worcester Commission for Persons with Disability, which actually has a different name, put together a two-page document. And I'm having to move things around on my screen just a little bit. Oop, hold on, sorry. I'm trying to. Oh, okay, come on. There's the share. Um, a two-page document that provides information to restaurants in the community on some of the things that they could do to make the restaurant more accessible for their patrons. So this is, it's basically an 8 by 11 piece of paper that's folded into a trifold. So this would be the outside page. How can I make my restaurant disability friendly? And then I'm going a little fast here, but I'm going to go to the interior page. So it has this information on the interior. Here are a few general tips. Make sure your staff is aware of your restaurant's accessibility and is trained to respond. I'll just point over here. Provide sensitivity training for staff who deal directly with patrons. Offer help, but never assume it is needed. So it's basically a very general guidelines that could be distributed to restaurants in Amherst. I think if we were to ask the Worcester Commission, we could probably use their exact language and use our town um, seal and simply just adopt the language that they have. So there's a few general tips. There's tips for patients with a service animal. And so one of the things is that um, if a service dog is present, don't insist or suggest patio or outside seating. Service dogs are trained to remain under the table and they are not unhygienic, nor is it a violation of the health code for them to be in a restaurant. Then they have tips for patrons with speech or language disability. Listen attentively when you're talking to a person who has a speech disability. Exercise patience rather than attempting to speak for the person. The other sections are tips for patrons who are deaf of hard of hearing. And under that, it says keep notepads and pens available so patrons can read your questions and reply in kind. Tips for patrons who are blind or visually impaired. Use the clock face method to orient patrons. For example, your glass is at 11 o'clock, your salt and pepper is at 1 o'clock. Have a braille menu or a large print menu. And then tips for patrons with physical disabilities. Um, you know, and under that section, it says if a patron with physical disabilities needs specific cutlery or tableware, they'll usually have it with them. Patrons will know what their needs are and will ask for help if needed. So that's the interior of the pamphlet. This outer page it continues by having references to why make your restaurant disability friendly, helpful tips for resources for removal of physical barriers, and then it points to other websites where restaurateurs could find out additional information. So that's Cody, you have your hand up.
Yeah, under language and speech difficulties, I will just add, you know, don't be afraid to have the customer repeat themselves rather than just standing there awkward.
Okay, that's very useful. One of the things that I would probably ask, and maybe if if the commission decides that they want to adopt uh, this document, we could ask everyone to submit additional things to, take some time, review what's here for bullet points. And if there was some specific edits like that one for a section, you could submit them. We'll want to probably keep the total length of the document to one page back and front so that it is, friendly for restaurateurs rather than having a much longer document. But I think that's a very good point. And there's probably space with a change in type or font size to add that information. And we could do that for each of the sections if folks had suggestions for things that they wanted to add. All right, I'm going to stop screen sharing. Oh, all right. Ian?
This doesn't have to do with the screen share.
Okay, all right.
So you can have that if you want.
Okay, thank you.
I was just wondering, would this be like simply for back of the house, like for the restaurant owner and staff to have, or would they also have like a copy in the front so that customers know that the restaurant has this on hand?
I think that would be left to the restaurateurs. We don't really have the ability to mandate that they have it front of the house. So in my view, I think it would be something that we could share with the chamber and the bid, and they could share it with their members, and we can make it available to local businesses or restaurants. And then we could also post it on your website, so it would be available to folks to look, but it's not, although the regulations are a mandate, it's not a mandate that we can force them to, you
Mhm.
know, post this or have it available. But the accessibility regulations are mandated. So I see it as a helpful tool to provide to restaurateurs.
That makes sense.
Well, Pamela, maybe it makes sense for you to reach out to the commission in Worcester
Hmm.
and see if if they're good to go, then we can start developing the brochure specific to Amherst along the lines that Cody and you have suggested with additions. But
Okay, so I will put that on my to-do list. I will reach out to them and ask for permission. Um, and I am fairly certain they'll grant it to use theirs as a basis for creating one that's Amherst specific.
Mhm. That would be great.
Mhm. I think that might require a motion. Would somebody like to make the motion?
I'll make the motion that we reach out to Worcester and ask that we can replicate their document with the Amherst town seal.
I
And
said,
all right, thank you. Have Cody as a second, and we'll do a roll call vote. Saren?
Oh,
Ye-
sorry, brief amendment to my own thing.
Okay.
With any additional as when we replicate it with any additional add-ons that we think are necessary.
Okay. So, roll call vote. Saren?
Yes.
Okay. Ian?
Yes.
All right. Reginald?
Yes.
All right. Cody?
yeah.
Jim?
yes.
Okay. And I'm a yes, so that's unanimous.
Very good.
All right. Um, the next thing on the list is our special guest, Counselor-elect Amber Cano Martin.
Hi. I didn't really have anything planned. I just was hoping to have the chance to join you guys and learn about what you're working on. So I'll share a little bit about myself briefly, if that's helpful. So my name is Amber Cano Martin, and I am a resident of District 2, so I will be one of the two District 2 counselors starting on January 5th, 2026. And I'm really excited to get started on the job. I have been, this is actually my second time running for town council, so it's definitely been a long time goal of mine. I'm really passionate about a lot of different issues in town, including, justice issues like economic and racial justice, certainly disability justice. And I don't know, Jim, if you remember me, but I used to work for the PCA Union 1199 with Becca Gutman. So I
Yeah.
used to I used to hear your name quite a bit. I don't think we were ever in a meeting together, but
I don't think so, but yeah, that's a good experience to have. So
yes. Yeah, I was an organizer of home care workers or PCAs for 10 years in Massachusetts, and I, did have the opportunity to visit so many of them at home and at work with their consumers and, learned a lot through that experience and
Oh,
obviously
wonderful.
think the world of that program and always support it and want it to be well funded and thriving. So but yeah, I mean, I think that I just want to keep this line of communication open, and I hope that you'll come to me if there's anything that I can be helpful with in terms of like moving things in the council or things that that you would like to see done, and I hope to with your invitation continue to drop by once in a while to these meetings and just learn more about what you're working on. But thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you.
well, it seems to me that we no longer have an official representative from the town council. Uh, so perhaps you want to consider being that person.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have to inquire. Is that something that has to be voted on, Pamela, do you know, or?
So, the way that it has worked in the past, and thanks for Jim for bringing it up because that was what was on my mind. The town council president has sought volunteers from town council to serve as town council liaison for a number of different boards. Boards expressed an interest in having a staff liaison. In the past, we've had Pat DeAngelis as our staff liaison. 'Cause she, of course, has stepped down from town council, so we would be in need of having someone to take on that role. Um, in that role, you're not a voting member, but you are what can attend our meetings. Obviously, can express your opinions about things and bring the concerns of the commission back to the town council. So my guess would be that beginning in January, when you elect your new town council president, that will be a question for that town council president about, you know, continuing in that same sort of a system or continuing in that role. But yes, we are desperately, well, not desperately, but we are in need of someone as a liaison because our prior liaison is no longer a member of council. And we've found it really helpful in helping to move matters of concern on the agenda. Our town council liaison has accompanied members of the commission when they've gone out to do assessment of properties or to walk, sidewalks or streets. Having that additional voice carries a lot of weight with other department heads and other folks the that this commission has to work with. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I will. So once we do that process then in the council in early January, I will certainly express interest because I would love to have the chance to do that.
Thank you.
Perfect.
All right. So the next thing I have on the agenda is Ian asked that we put on the removal of snow and ice from the sidewalks for discussion.
Yeah, thanks, Pamela. So I think we've talked about this in the past. I can't remember exactly, but when the most recent storm, at least the sidewalk on my street, when the sidewalk plow came through, it was relatively uneven amounts of plowage, leaving anywhere from like 1 inch to 6 inches, 5 or 6 inches of snow and slush still um, there, and knowing that it was going to freeze and stay, and there is still significant amounts of now hardened ice. Just knowing how difficult that is for um, wheelchair and motorized wheel mobile devices to gain traction on that type of surface. Um, and I happened to be in Northampton the same day, and their sidewalks were that I saw at least were um, quite clear, and I don't think there was that much temperature difference or snowfall difference between Northampton and Amherst from the storm. So just wanting to raise that um, as a concern of being people with mobility issues being able to get out and about.
I'm not sure that all sidewalks have snow removal done by the town. My guess is that that's not the case. But nevertheless, wherever the town takes responsibility, that's something where um, any of us should be on the horn with Guilford Mooring and saying, what, this isn't working. I'm sure he'd be glad to hear from any members of this committee.
That's very true. So, Jim is right. Like the town is not responsible for all the sidewalks, but I can certainly invite Guilford to attend the next meeting. I mean, he's accustomed to receiving invitations from this commission, and we can raise the issue with him, and or you could email him and address him directly about your street and your sidewalk.
And it may be that I because I live on a bus route that's why it is more regularly the sidewalk is more regularly plowed.
Mhm.
Even
But
so, this is Reggie. So I live
mm,
right in the center of town of Amherst, over 20 years, and noticed that certain sections, certain segments of the town do not get plowed. The town does a really, really good job, especially around the town commons. I like to walk around the town commons and that sidewalk in front around the town city hall area. That is pretty well done every year. But certain sections, for example, in front of like the mobile gas station, do not plow the sidewalk over there. And the bus stop is right next in front of the Amherst post office. Then when you walk down going towards the spoke area, that section for some reason does not really get snow plowed. The sidewalks every single year. It's terrible over there.
well, I can send an invitation to Guilford and ask him to discuss what sidewalks receive attention from the town and which ones are don't. I know that the town bylaw provides, I want to say it's as much as 48 hours for property owners to remove um, to remove snow, and the legal responsibility um, does lie with property owners. So in front of the spoke, it might not be the town, it might be the owners there. But I think Guilford would be the best person to address those issues.
Um,
Good idea.
e- even if it's the owner's responsibility, can't the town say, hey, you have to clear your sidewalk?
Yeah, I think that the town actually can issue a fine for if they haven't been cleared within the time framework. I think that the bylaw does allow that. So yes, they can certainly apply some pressure. Um, so I'll put on my to-do list to ask Guilford to the next meeting. Um, to address these issues.
Yeah, I mean, the frustrating thing is this comes up every year.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of things in Amherst, actually, but in any event, um, and we don't seem to make a whole lot of progress on it, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't keep the pressure on.
Right.
And again, every year, I walk into town and I walk home, I walk to campus when I come to work. I usually walk here before the buses start running, and the same sidewalks do not get snow removal, especially when you come towards the North Pleasant Street area. Like, for example, in front of Hill House, that whole block does not get shoveled at all every single winter.
Wow.
Once once I hit campus, I'm good. But that midsection, there's like a long stretch. Then I often wonder where do wheelchair users go? They cannot go on the sidewalk. Do they have to go on the street? Then the streets get a little tightened up. There's snow banks.
That's
There's a
right.
lot of dirt on the street from the sanders. It's not a really good situation for wheelchair users at all.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I've added an invitation to Guilford to the January meeting. The next thing that I have on the agenda is approval of the minutes. So I wasn't, again, present for the November meeting. I'm hoping that if there were any corrections that you guys can bring them to my attention. And if there weren't any corrections, I would entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
I so move.
All right, thank you. Second,
I so move.
thank you. All right, so roll call vote. Saren,
Yes.
okay, Ian,
Yes.
Reginald,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and Cody.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to abstain because I wasn't here for the meeting, so I'm not there. All right, thank you. So that would normally be the conclusion of the agenda, but I do have one other matter that I'm just going to raise under other business not anticipated within 48 hours. So earlier this morning, I forwarded to you an email that I received from Athena O'Keefe, the clerk for the town council. Um, the town council voted last night to create the Transportation and Parking Commission. And I think maybe at the last meeting, there might have been some preliminary conversation. That commission will be a new commission. It's going to be a 9-member board, and one of the members will be someone from this commission. So I just emailed that information to you earlier today, so I know you probably haven't had a chance to review it, but you all have a copy of the charge and the policy. And I think at our next meeting in January, we should be prepared to select someone to join that commission. And that will also give Myra an opportunity to review it and weigh in.
I
Um,
would point out
oh,
that Ian volunteered at the last meeting, and
Oh, okay.
I'm perfectly happy to see him as the commission's representative to the parking committee
Oh,
commission.
great. Oh, great. I'm sorry, Ian. I wasn't there, so I didn't know. So if you are the person, I will just let Athena know that you're going to be the person from this commission who's gonna serve there.
yeah, I was just gonna say thanks, Jim. I was just gonna say I had expressed interest in it. And I did read the charge and commission, or charge and purpose this morning
Mhm.
you sent out. I don't know if we had an official vote on it last time. I don't know if because there hadn't yet been the formation of the committee.
Mhm.
I don't know if we need to, but I am still interested in serving on that.
I am happy to nominate Ian to be the representative of the Commission for Persons with Disabilities to this new parking commission.
Great. So that's a nomination, and perhaps we can roll into the nomination a vote of the commission for Ian to serve, and I'll second, and then we can take the roll call vote. So Sarah,
Yes.
I'm just going across my screen, so I'm a yes. Ian,
Yes.
all right. Reginald,
Yes.
all right. Jim
Yes.
and Cody.
Yes.
All righty. Well, that's great. That makes easy work for me.
Now,
We
Myra also raised the possibility that we should have an alternate in the what we all hope would be the very, very rare event that Ian was unable to attend the commission. And I don't know whether there's a provision for that in the charge establishing the committee or not, or whether this is something we want to take up in January. If it's something that we should do, and again, with any luck, that person doesn't have to do anything. But
Right. Yeah. So I have not read through all of the charge. So I'm not sure whether there's space for an alternate, but I think that in the I can read the charge more closely, and then in the event that Ian was not able to attend a meeting, we could probably perhaps um, ask for someone to serve in his stead. But I'll have to look at the charge. I just don't know. I don't know. I haven't read it this morning. Is it okay with the members if we hold the on to that aspect until January?
sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We don't have any members of the public, so
Or
and that
could I raise a question?
sure, yeah.
This is actually for Ian. Ian, were you able to participate in that, or zoom in on that hearing that they had for the mask and PPE law? I think Pamela had sent out something about that, or someone had.
It was the other week. The other week, I actually was not. I had some friends and colleagues who were able to, but I had a family emergency that came up. Um, um, but I am hoping that I don't know if it's past the time for co-sponsorship, but I still am hoping that we can get Mindy to attend one of our meetings at one point, to hear our feedback on it.
So she is I g- and I guess there was some confusion during my absence about whether she was scheduled to attend your November meeting, and she was not able to attend the November meeting. It is my recollection that she had volunteered and we were scheduled to have her at the November meeting. But anyway, there was some mix up there. Uh, Currently, she has had communication with Myra, and I'm just going to look at the emails. I believe she is that she is scheduled to attend the January meeting. So she will be here for the January 13th meeting.
Great.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Um, Pamela, I do have one other piece of what's it called? Unforeseen or
Yeah,
unplanned business.
unanticipated or not anticipated within 48 hours. Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Hmm.
So last month we were talking about pedestrian traffic signals, and which ones get auditory assistance
Hmm.
for blind and vision impaired people. Um, and I was asking specifically about one on my street, because the flashing light to stop cars had um, gone out on that one. Since then, also to do with the snowstorm, it seems that either a snowplow or an accident has knocked that over, and so it's
Mm.
completely out of commission for
Hmm.
anyone,
Hmm.
and is off the base and leaning 45 up degree or like 65 degrees up against a tree, and a bit of a hazard in that sense as well. So just wanting to put that further on the radar of Guilford.
Okay. So could I ask you to either send me your street address so I can give Guilford the exact location when I reach out to him so
Yeah,
he'll
and
know?
I'll send some photos that I took of it as well.
Okay, great. That's great. Okay. Right.
And if one other little minor point, I checked the Mass Office on Disabilities website yesterday to see whether there have been any announcements of municipal grants, and there was nothing there. Last year, the press release went out on December 18th. So maybe we'll know sometime, and maybe the town will know sometime, but anyway, so we still don't know what the award is as far as the South Amherst Library is concerned, or whether there will be an award.
I can on that I can also reach out to Rob Moore to ask when they might expect. I mean, it may come in before January 13th, so if it was mid-December. Yeah, so all right. So I'm going to just take a minute just to review my to-do list to make sure I have everything, but I'm gonna, I have, I think like 5 or 6 things on my list. The first is to ask about the parking fines that are being collected and the balance, if any, in the account. I'm gonna reach out to Worcester to ask about using their restaurant accessibility guide. I'm gonna invite Guilford to talk about sidewalks and the traffic signals. And then I will also reach out to Rob Moore about the MOD grant. Is there anything else that you need to add to my list, or have I missed anything? Okay, well, with that, I think we can entertain a motion to adjourn, and it's 12:26.
Well, I move we adjourn.
Thank you.
I'll
Second?
sec I'll second that.
All right. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I
Aye. All righty. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you in the new year if
Happy
so.
holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays.
happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be the host.